Well, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here, actually.
So many people don't know that we meet each other almost every day, right?
Yes, we do.
When we don't do that, it's my fault because I'm not there, right?
Most of the time, yes.
Most of the time. So, I think the people know that. I am a fan of you. I like you very much because you are. I like the way you are. You're a strong woman. You're funny. You're clever, and some kind. I would not say that you are shy, because I think you are not shy, but you are reserved, right?
That's a good way of putting it. I like it. Yeah. When I was young, a child, I was very shy. Not so much anymore, but yes, I tend to. Reserved is a good word. I tend to sit back and let things happen around me.
Okay. Okay, I have an idea that maybe
Okay.
why, but I don't know. So we need to explore that. So as I know, you grew up in a farm, right?
I did.
How was that?
A dairy farm.
A dairy farm.
A dairy farm. Actually, we moved to the farm when I was very young. We were in a really bad car accident when I was about 2 years old.
Oh.
And my dad couldn't, he was on the post office on the rail. And so after his car accident, he had 2 broken knees. He couldn't do that anymore. So he bought a farm out by the rest of his family. So he decided on a dairy farm. Dairy farms, you may not know it, but require a lot of work because you have to be there at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the evening, every day for the rest of your life to milk the cows. So that's what I grew up on, and yeah, there's pros and cons, good things and bad things.
Yeah, but it was so hard, even as being a child, or was more joy?
I like the freedom on the farm because you could, when you're playing, some of my favorite places to play were up in the trees. Okay. So I spent a lot of time, so I had cousins on one side of us, and so there was a row of trees between us and them, and we would meet halfway through and spend an afternoon up in the trees. Our pasture had lots of trees, and we would go out, and as kids you make playhouses and things, but you have lots of freedom that I don't think you had in the city.
But you need to work also in the farm? Or?
Oh, yes.
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 I
think we were, slave labor.
I know that.
Yeah.
I'm still one. Still one.
But we had our chores. So when we were younger, it was things like gathering eggs. So I still have scars from the chickens because their chickens are quite nasty.
Yeah.
And they don't like you to take the eggs from under them. So we used to do that and wash the eggs, things like that. But as we got older, then we had to start taking more participation in the milking part of it. So then we had to clean and sterilize all the milking equipment, those sorts of things.
So you have to, I don't know how to call this in English, but when the poo of the cows, you need to put them
I shoveled much manure, that we'd call it. But at one point I remember we upgraded. So we got an electric, you go around the gutter and it would take the manure out automatically.
Okay.
You still had to pull it from under the cows, but
it
was much better, yes.
Okay. So you can milk?
I could milk from quite a young age, yes.
Okay.
We had so I had an older brother. He's about 5 years older than me, 6 years older than 5. And so he was out in the barn most of the time with my dad. But when he went off to college, then it got to be my turn to go out. So I was about 12, and I was out in the barn quite a bit. Morning before school, and first thing you do when you come home from school would be out in the barn. So my job was to wash the cows, because you have to clean them. And then you always have to squirt a little bit out first, and then my dad was the person who did the milking machine because there's a lot of milk that comes out.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he did the heavy lifting
Yeah.
most of the time. We still had to carry the
I
milk.
think you get 25 liters from a cow, something like that.
No, it would be more like 5 liters, a pail full. 5 liters?
Yeah.
No, not 5 liters. Maybe 25 because it's a
It's a
5
big one, it's a
gallon.
big one,
5 gallons.
5 gallons, okay. I don't know, 25. Yeah,
We never counted in liters back then. But yes, yeah. So probably
because
is.
normally a goat, I mean, I'm the one who goats, not with cows. So you get between 3 and 5 liters.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, it was a 5 gallon pail that we'd have to take and empty and stuff, so yeah.
But did you sell the milk or you made cheese or?
No, we sold the milk.
Mm.
We would separate it out first. So a separator takes the cream, and you can sell the cream separate from the milk
Okay.
if you want to. But most of ours we separate out enough for us ourselves. So the milk that we drank as kids was probably 1%, maybe 2%. Because I know I'd go into the city to my aunt's house and she'd have homogenized whole milk. I couldn't drink it, it was too rich for me. So yeah, that was kind of interesting, but yes.
Okay. So when you grow up in a farm, I guess you have another kind of view related to animals or to pets, right?
Yes. Yeah. So a lot of people are going to hate this, but yes. On a farm, if it doesn't have a purpose, it doesn't belong. That was my dad's philosophy. If the dogs started chasing the cows, that meant that cows had less milk. So if we had dogs that chased the cows, they didn't stay around very long. And same with kittens. We wanted enough cats to keep the mice down. Any extra cats were a nuisance.
Yeah.
Right? So you learn to have a very pragmatic point of view of the animals.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
because the people working hard. I mean, this is very hard work at the farm.
Yeah.
I don't know if they need to have another kind of view, but normally they do have another. That's why I'm
Yeah, our pets were treated really well. Like you asked if I could milk. You get really good at, and the cats knew, right? They would come and they would sit out and you could squirt and they would be there to take the milk. So they get treated really well when they're there.
But it looks like a funny channel, right?
It was pretty good. Pros and cons, as always, right?
Yeah.
So when you have a farm, of course, you don't have all the water that you necessarily want. So it meant that I went to school quite often. I'm sure, I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure I smelled like cows when I went to school often, right?
Okay, but this, I mean, it's better to smell a bit like a cow, like a pork. I can tell you.
That's true.
I can tell you. It smells a little bit different.
Yes, we had cows. We had a few pigs, but 2 or 3. My uncle had a pig farm, but we had cows.
Yeah, this smells different. So I think your grandparents came from Sweden, right?
Yeah.
Both of them?
Their ancestry is both from Sweden. My father's side. My grandfather was actually from Sweden. My grandmother came via Minneapolis. So she was actually born in the U.S., but her parents were from Sweden.
Oh,
My mom's side, same idea, but they were from Norway.
Ah, from Norway?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, so Scandinavian.
I'm fully Scandinavian background.
Okay. Did you speak Swedish or Norwegian at home?
So my mom and dad spoke Swedish and Norwegian. So as kids got to learn quite a few words of each. Mostly when they argued, it was Swedish and Norwegian. So we got to learn quite a few words, but never really spoke it. I took Swedish in university when I went. I took 3 years of Swedish, so I was actually almost fluent. But it's been quite a few years now, so it's been lost. So I can say a few words that I remember, a few phrases, but not too many.
Not too many.
Not too many,
Okay.
no.
So I mean, when I see you, okay, and many people don't know that, but when I was a barman, I would work in a bar, and I would say that 90% of the tourists that I worked with, they were from Scandinavia.
Oh.
So you fit into that. So and we go back to the point of being preserved, because for me, when I meet people from Scandinavia, they are not like me. They are not loud. I'm loud. Okay, I'm coming from the south, you know, and I need to compensate
You're
many things.
Spanish.
I need to compensate many things in my life. So,
We won't go there.
do you think that, or let's say, how much Scandinavia are you on that?
Yeah,
in that sense?
and that's actually, I never thought about it that way, but probably a lot, because we were told as we were kids, you know, be quiet, listen, and all of those sorts of things. So a lot of the lessons, the tapes that you have from your childhood, they register probably a lot more than you think they do. But I hadn't thought about it that way.
Yeah, normally because my experience is, I mean, you can recognize, for example, Spanish people.
Yeah.
If you see them 200 meters away from you, and there are people that are loud, you can say they're from Spain. Yeah, and on the other side, when and in Scandinavia there are different kind of people.
For sure.
For myself, the most quiet are from Finland.
Yes, I agree.
They are really
Almost extreme.
yeah. From my point of view, this is not negative, of course.
No.
The way they are. That's very nice. So I need to, because I'm running away. So
You have a script to follow.
of course, yes,
Yeah.
a little bit. Not all the things, because that's the thing. So and the last thing related to Swedish or Sweden or Norway. Do you celebrate midnight summer?
In summer,
Midsummer day.
when we were children, we called it Swedish camp, and that's where we had a cabin at the lake, and it was all Swedes that bought in this, so we had Swedish camp. So we learned a little bit of Swedish as well then. But yes, we did all the traditions, and we'd have a midsummer's and pull up the maypole, and so we know all of those things. And a lot of the traditions we learned during Swedish camp. And I know when my children went, my sister and I took over I forget what they call it now, the arts and crafts. And normally what they had been doing, and before we took it over, was all just regular arts and crafts. And we decided to make it much more Swedish. So we started teaching them what polska was, and what they did at Easter time, what they did at Christmas. And so we did a lot more Swedish kinds of things. And the kids really enjoyed it. But yes, so we don't celebrate it, but we know what it is.
I have still a few friends in Sweden, from the people that I knew, and especially a woman that I have a very good relationship with her already for, wow, I would say more than 30 years. 30 years. Only. Yeah.
That's good.
That's good.
A long
That's
time,
good.
yeah.
I love it. I love that. I've been there the last time when we ran the Agile Testing Days. I think 10 years ago, something like that, and I would like to go back. But
Yeah, I've been to Norway fairly often over the years, consulting and things, but only a few times to Sweden. And if you're there long enough, my Swedish comes back and I can pick it up. But
we may need to organize something. You love us, right? So let's go back to the life. So there is, after myself, of course, the first love in your life.
And who might that be?
Jack.
Yeah. He said, I'll be up in my room if you have any questions. You need verified.
I love him, you know, I love this.
Yeah.
What I see you both, or when I see him,
Mm-hmm.
I see or experience a lot of support from his side for you.
Absolutely.
And I know that's not always the case in many other relationships. How came that to you? Because it's not the easy way.
It takes a lot of whipping. Yeah.
Yes, of course. But
Just kidding.
I heard that some people like it, but I don't know.
Actually, it was. So next year will be our 50th anniversary. So it's
Wow.
a lot
Which
of
day?
years. In October next year. Yeah.
Okay.
So we kind of say the first 25 years was him. He traveled all the time. I raised the kids. I always say that I was a single mom with support. He got a paycheck. After the 25 years, I went back to school at the time, and I think that's when he started being supportive when I went to university, because I didn't have time. We had kids in competitive school or competitive sports, and they were in school, and he was still traveling at that time, but he started taking over a lot of the things like cleaning the house and that sort of thing. So I think it kind of started then. It became much more, I guess prevalent would be a good word, is when I started traveling, and I was doing a lot of traveling after our first book. So 2009-10, that's when I started traveling quite a bit. And he started doing more things at home because he was there. By then our kids were older, didn't need the support anymore. And then he retired about 10 years ago or more. Yeah, he became a very happy man because he all of a sudden had no work. He decided to be my, what does he call it? My bag boy, right? He carries my suitcases, but he does much more than that.
Not the flunky?
He's a flunky at some of the time. But yeah, he's just very, very supportive in anything I do. So when we're writing the books, he just made sure I always had supper ready and all of those things. So it's become more so. I have to remind him once in a while, but no, he's been very good.
How you met him?
How did I meet him? When I left home at 17, because I finished high school and raised in a small town and a farm. There's nothing there, so I went into the city, and I had two roommates. They both were going to college, and so I was the only one working. I didn't go to college right after school or university, so I was at home by myself quite often. And there was an apartment across the street down, and they had 5 guys living in this apartment. I actually started dating Jack's roommate. And so we have different stories. If you ask him, he will tell you one story, which is a lie, total lie.
Of course.
But
I know that.
his roommate, never listen to Jack. But the roommate that I had been dating went back home for summer, and so Jack had gotten some $20 bill from his sister for his birthday in May. And so I said, got some money. You want to take me out for dinner? So I actually asked him out first.
Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah. He
So
says he wanted me in the car.
You had an eye on him. You already had an eye on him.
I guess so. I don't remember that, but yeah. And so that's how we met. He says he won me in a card game.
If we look to the business part where we are, the Agile Testing,
yes.
Agile Testing, where you have the books and so on, you're well known and respect. I think respect from the community.
Hopefully.
Yes. There's no doubt in that. How does it feel?
This might be where that Swedish Norwegian thing comes back out again. Sometimes embarrassing.
Okay.
Right? I just when people come up and say, "Oh, you're the author," and I just kind of want to hide under a table sometimes. But I've learned to accept it. I have learned not to do that. But it doesn't feel a lot different. It's just part of it's part of what I've done, right?
But it's also a recognition, right, from the work that you have done.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, how was the feeling the first time someone came and said, "Could you sign the book?"
Oh, pure embarrassment. I must have gone 15 shades of red. Go, "You want me to sign a book?" And I just kind of went, "Okay, what do I do?" Right? And then Lisa showed me where I'm supposed to sign in the book. So it was kind of funny because my grandson wrote a book. He's 14, and he wrote a book. It's published, it printed, and so the other day I took it to him and I said, "So, Joe, I'd like a signature." And he'd go, "Okay." So I showed him where he's supposed to sign. So he signed it and dated it. But yeah, the first time was really, I just didn't know what to do. I had never thought that anybody would ever ask me. And then I thought, this is what so the very first Agile conference I went to was XP Universe in Chicago in 2002. And I went there and I was in awe of people like Mary Poppendieck, right? There was a few people like that. And I was in awe and I thought, oh, and I got them to sign my book. And the first time somebody asked me to sign it, I went, this is what they felt like when I did, right? And I thought, okay, I need to remember that. and yeah, but it is.
It is.
Yes.
I mean, you deserve that. I have to say.
Oh. Not sure if I deserve it, but it's a lot of work to write books.
Yes.
And courses and everything else.
Yeah, to have the idea also, and I think this even. I mean, you are well known, and your books are good, and the people like the books and buy the books and so on. But there are other people who are really doing a lot of work, and they are not so lucky having that kind of recognition. But still, there's a lot of work there. And I mean, I've been involved in some books too, and I know how it is. So you already talk a little bit about your age and so on. So you are not anymore 35.
I am no more. Yeah, no.
Around
long
40.
Time.
Around 40, let's say in that way. And let's say in your age, people start thinking about retirement, right? And thinking about what I would like to do or whatever. And the question is not about, my question is not about what we want to do at some point when you decide in 20, 30 years to retire. But the question that I would like to have is, what is life about? I mean, you have now a long experience, you have kids, you have been at the home working hard for the kids, you have been now traveling around the world, experience a very nice, I would not say second life, but really something special. And I think that you, when you get older, you know, I think normally you get a feeling, what is life about? What's for you?
That's a really hard question. Kind of a nasty thing to spring on a person. But yeah, so life is, to me, I need to enjoy it and enjoy what I do. There were a time when I worked to make a living, right? You do the job, you get the paycheck, and it gets you to the next thing. But for quite a long time, I've really believed that when you work, you better enjoy what you do, because it's a great part of it. I remember that same conference that I talked about Mary, and I looked at her at the time, and because Tom traveled with her all the time, and I looked at them and I said, that's what I want to do when I retire, right? I wasn't even 20 then, I was older because I went back to university as a mature student. And I looked and I thought, that's what I want to do when I retire. To me, that was the best of both worlds. So when I look at my life now, I go, I don't think I can ask for anything more. I have no regrets. I have 2 wonderful daughters, 3 wonderful grandchildren, hopefully no great-grandchildren for a while, because, but it could happen, you never know. But we have like a summer place where we spend all summer, and it's beautiful. We have, we get to travel, and for many years now, my travel was doing courses and things, so the travel was paid for. Jack's been able to travel with me for the last 10 to 12 years since he's been retired, which makes it so much better. I've seen places in the world that I never thought I would see. So, for example, when my sister retired, her and I took a trip to Africa to go on a safari. That was her retirement trip for her, right? So I said, I'll go with you. And so we went on the safari, went on the tour, it was great. 2 years later, I guess it was reversed, I went with Jack, and then I went with my sister. And I thought, I've been on the safari twice, this is perfect, I never have to go again. And then I was lucky enough to go to South Africa twice. So I got to go on more safaris when I was down there, and I went, this is, I've been just about everywhere in the world. I had a couple of things on my bucket list, and next year, as part of our 50th anniversary thing, we're going on a river cruise down the Nile. So I go get to see the pyramids. That was on my bucket list. But so I have had all the travel that I want. We've done so many things. It's been very lucky to be able to do that. But yet I have a very comfortable life where I am, where I can spend summers where it's nice and hole up in Calgary in our condo when it's not. So I don't know what else I could ask for. So to me, life is, can I do what we want? We also escape winter down south when we can. But I've been very fortunate, and I really don't know what else I could ask for. It's friends, really good friends that I get to come. When I come here to Agile Testing Days, I walk in and I just go, oh, I haven't seen you. And of course I get to see you and your family too. And it's, the friendships, they're important.
I mean, there's, working hard, you can have the money to buy many things, but you cannot buy love or friendships or real friendships, and I think that's the difference. Yeah, that's the difference. So about life. So you said you have 2 daughters. I only know one.
Yes.
And she is extremely strong. I think she's amazing. I mean, amazing not only from the business part of it, because she's very, very good. Maybe better than you, I don't know.
She will be.
She will be. I think
will be, I'm
but,
sure.
But because she's different, but she's very, very strong. I would say she's more like you. I don't know if you like that or she likes that. I'm sorry, Susan. I'm sorry, Susan. But really, she's amazing. No?
She is pretty amazing. She really is. when she went to university and she chose to take computer science, I just went, hey, kind of, you know, and it wasn't so many years after I took mine, so it was kind of fun. I could actually help her a little bit in things, but yes. But she has a lot more of Jack's confidence.
Well, she's not so reserved. She's not so reserved.
Right.
She's at some point she's reserved, but she could be. I think she could be pushy.
Oh, she can be pushy. Yes,
Yeah.
she can. Yes. Yeah.
Hey, Nathan.
You could probably ask Nathan all you want to do and say, oh yeah.
Oh, it's good.
But that's
good.
okay.
That's
Yeah, and my other daughter is not in computer science, but she runs her own business,
Okay.
and she's, you know, what she does
She's
is very
also
well.
like you, or more like.
No, she's got Jack's idiosyncrasies, his sense of humor,
Okay.
which I don't always understand, but yeah,
But you choose it.
it's there. But yeah, no, but they're both very, very strong women, so that I'm really super happy about.
No, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the question is obvious or not, but what is a blessing in your life?
Blessings in my life. Well, my children, my grandchildren, for sure. I guess I should say Jack too, right?
We can
He often says that he's, so in my books, you know, you have dedications, and he says, yeah, it says, to Jack, with regards, Janet Gregory. It doesn't say that, it doesn't, but that's how he so yeah. But no, blessings, just my life, period. I'm, you know, fairly healthy, which is a good thing. You know, as you age, there's lots of little things, but generally speaking, all of the things.
But
it's
these
my
small
life.
things,
I'm good.
but these small things that you have is part of the life. If you don't
Yes.
have these small things, then you are not alive anymore. So
that's true.
That's
Yes.
the point. I mean,
Yes.
it's okay. I mean, I was we are moving in the office, so and I was on Wednesday or Thursday. I was there building up the furniture because we got someone I need to build.
Right.
So I was working the whole day, and I was alone because no one had time at the moment. So I was, and at the end of the day, I have pains still today. I have pains. This is.
It's that age thing, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah,
There's very few
yeah.
people that age without those aches and pains. Your body, gravity takes over, right? It just is. It, you know.
So I have a game that we bought it for our son or our children, but now for Oscar first. And this is in German, but I will try to translate that. So we are going to translate that into English, and we'll do something. So we are going to pick 4 questions here. It's about the brain. Brain math is the translation from German to English.
Okay, they'll have different pictures on, so
Yeah,
that is a
okay.
brain. Yeah.
The heart questions.
Okay, heart.
Okay, heart. Spiegelbild, reflection.
Hence the mirror. Yes.
Mirror.
Okay.
And the other one is Gedankenspiel, is like
Thinking.
think games or thinking things. Thinking games could be the literal translation. So pick one, and I will
Pick one, anyone.
anyone, whatever, because they are not in order. So I will read it.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is interesting question. This is very interesting question.
You're scared.
You can from the whole animals in the world, no?
Any animal?
Any animal in the world, you can adopt one.
I can adopt an animal.
Yeah. Which one is going to be?
Well, my brain automatically does this little pros and cons. So I'm thinking, oh, that's really cute, but I know that that's too hard to do and I can't do it. So my brain is automatically thinking that
But think about you have Jack.
I have Jack.
You need to keep him busy.
So it could not be a cat. That would be out.
Okay.
I was once in Australia and got to hold a koala bear.
Oh wow.
And it was all soft and
Yeah.
cuddly, but I don't have any eucalyptus leaves, so I couldn't adopt it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, if I had an animal, and we did have a dog for a long time, we don't have any animals right now, it would be a small puppy, like just a little dog.
A little dog.
Yeah, that sits on my lap,
Mm-hmm.
because there's nothing better than being able just to pet.
Yeah.
Susan has a dog that I would go and I would take and
Okay.
and I could use, but yeah, it's because I would never have a big animal. I'm not a big animal person, so just wouldn't happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have a donkey.
I'm not having it.
Or a dragon. A dragon.
A dragon, it might burn my house down.
It's good for the winter. It's good for the winter.
If I could have a little miniature dragon, maybe.
And Sabine made one for you, no? You
Yes.
remember?
Oh, I know.
It's
I
one.
have quite a nice little collection of little dragons. But yes.
I mean, when I was a child, we had later we have always canary birds because my mother loved canary birds, and it was very nice. Till you went out, till I was old enough to go out in the night and so on, and then in the morning when they are singing all the time, you want to kill them. But when we were quite small, my father brought a puppy from a Shepherd dog, German Shepherd dog.
Okay.
And the dog was only one day at home because my mother, you have to know, we have 47 square meters at the flat. Okay. And we were 3 kids, my mother, my father, and my 2 grandmothers. Okay, so my father came with the dog, and my mother told him, okay, you have a chance.
The dog for you.
Dog or me. So you can decide now. So my father brought back the dog to the place where he got it. And then later on we had cats, and then in Germany we had dogs.
Yeah.
Still have
I am actually scared of birds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would never have a bird.
But you know the birds has very small.
It doesn't matter.
They cannot eat you.
No, so fear is something you cannot justify.
I know. Fear is, there is no.
I have no idea why. So this is the Brainland. All right.
Brain. I don't know what happens with you. I don't know.
Okay.
The German is können Tiere gut und böse sein. Ja. Could animals be good and bad? We have the same question the last time.
Can animals be good or bad?
Yeah.
Or at the same time? Yeah, of course they can. I don't think there's anything as an evil animal. By nature, they're just not evil, right? So in Canada, we have lots of things like bears, for example. Yeah, they're not evil. They do their thing. If you get in their way, well, it's probably your fault for being in their part, right? Yeah, they want to eat you. So I think they can be both good and evil.
Like the people.
Like people. But people usually make conscious choices. And animals, not so much. I don't think they have the brain power to say, this would be bad. I shouldn't eat that person. Right?
But it tastes good.
But it tastes good. Whereas people, they can make those choices. But there are good and bad people too.
Yeah. So I hope no animals anymore.
Yeah.
This is reflection.
So chickens are evil.
Yeah.
But
I didn't know.
like to eat
I didn't know that because chicken that they also eat meat. They eat everything.
They eat everything.
They eat everything. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know because I was in a farm 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And pork got a heart attack and died. Whatever. And a pig. And then I saw how a chicken was there.
Just picking at it.
And I was,
Oh.
and they say, yeah, we need to take care because they will eat that.
Well, you think about things like vultures. They're nature's garbage cleaners, right? They pick clean. That's why when you go through Africa, it doesn't stink like rotting carcasses because the birds, and so chickens are birds. Makes sense. But they're still evil.
Okay. So, like I said, this is for children. Okay.
Okay, reflection.
Reflection. And the reflection here is today I was in fear. Do you have any fear today?
Do I have fears? I have lots of fears. Way too many, Jack would say. But today, my biggest fear is coming in and talk. No, I'm not. Actually, wasn't scared at all. I'd be scared that I'd lose my voice because I'm getting over a cold. But so fear. I have a fear of public speaking. Right. But I've worked really hard to get over it. Still, every time I get up on the stage, so I have to do a talk. Our tutorial tomorrow is not a problem, but when I do my talk on whatever day it is, I'll get up and I'll be extremely nervous. My knees will shake, my hands. I get scared, really scared. But I get up and do it anyhow. There's some things, and I can make myself do stuff, even if I'm scared. But there's some things that I just can't make myself do. So another thing I don't like is fish. I like them to look at. I love to snorkel and see them from underneath, but I don't like them to be around me.
Okay.
And so we were in the Caribbean one time, and I was bound and determined I was going to get over my fear, and we were going to go swim with the stingrays. They have a spot down there. And so I went, okay, Jack, I'm doing this. I am going to do it. And so I got off the boat, put my snorkel on. We're going to snorkel towards where they are. And there's a lot of people, it's happening. And I go, and then one of the stingrays swims underneath me. And I just panic attack. I was back on the boat. And I said, you go, I will wait for you. But I have, I think everybody has some of those irrational fears.
I mean, stingrays is quite big. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, this is.
But it doesn't have to be a big one.
I mean, I do snorkel a lot in the Canary Island, in Gran Canaria, where on the beach, so there's a lot of fishes, and so there's not a problem. So, but I remember many years ago, I was fishing in Lanzarote, in the island. I was fishing at the reef and so on, and then I said, I will jump in and swim a little bit. And then I was preparing to jump in, and then a small shark came, one, maybe 1 meter. So I said, we'll die. And the last summer we were in Gran Canaria with a cousin of mine has a boat. We were outside fishing and swimming and so on. And I was 5 minutes before with his son and my son, also with Oscar, in the water swimming, and it was very nice, quite deep, and I don't like that because I don't like when it's deep. I really don't like. So I was next to the boat, and we went back to the boat, and 3 minutes later, really, how do you know, hammerhead? Hammerhead. Not for me.
No,
not for me.
I know Jack does scuba diving, right?
Not for me.
No, there's no way. Absolutely no way for me either.
So we talk about the heart.
The heart. Let's go deep. There we go.
Let's go. No animals anymore. Wow. Okay. In German ist worin bin ich wirklich gut. This means in which think I'm really good? In which, what do you think that I'm doing that I'm really very good?
What am I really good at?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure I'm really good at anything. I like to dabble in lots of things. In my younger years, I used to do a lot of sewing, and I was pretty good. But I had to sew something for my costume, and the sewing machine almost went out the window. I'm not so good at it anymore. But I like to do art. So if I ever spent time, and a lot of time, I think I would be pretty good at that. But you have
When
to
you
have
mean
lots
art,
of time.
you mean
Painting.
drawing, painting?
Painting,
Okay.
yeah. When I was younger, I used to do oil painting.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And now I do watercolors mostly. So it's fun. I've got a few pictures up in the house.
Okay.
And they're okay. I don't mind putting them up. I'm not embarrassed by them, so that's a good thing.
Okay.
But it takes time to be really good at anything. You have to practice.
Like everything, without practice.
Exactly.
I mean, even if you are able to do things, you need to practice. And if you stop doing it, and one thing is the language. You talk about Swedish. I mean, one thing is the language, but even the cooking. You know,
Yes.
if you then keep doing, then it's going to be difficult. So the same question. If I would ask the same to Jack about you, what would he say? Whether you do that?
It wouldn't be cooking.
You never know.
I do some. I can cook. I can cook, but it's not my area of expertise at all. What would he say? That's actually a really. I would.
I will ask him. I will ask him
because I would like to know what he would say. I don't know what he would say actually. I don't know.
I think he will say giving orders.
Putting things on his list, yeah. Yeah, that could be. Being able to say no, I'm pretty good at that.
Okay.
No, Jack, you can't buy that.
Okay, so we are at the end of this interview, and there are some obligatory questions that we have, and there are only 6 of them. So the first one is, what is your favorite drink?
My favorite drink? Alcoholic or non-alcoholic?
Could be water.
Yeah.
No water.
Yeah. So what I drink the most of is water. If I'm going to have alcohol, it'll be a glass of red wine.
Okay.
That's real. Yeah.
Okay, okay, let's see tonight if you like the wine or choose one. What is your favorite song at the bar? We're at the bar, the Pepe's bar today.
Song?
A song, for example, when you are here and the song is get played and you say, "Wow, I need to dance."
Yeah, and so it would depend on the bar, and it would depend on the group of people I would be with, because I love to dance. I love to do that. If I'm in a country and western bar, it would be a good 2-step, and I really don't care what music it is. I mean, what song. It's about the rhythm, the beat.
Okay.
If I'm in a regular bar, I would say, if I wanted to ask somebody to dance, I would probably do some kind of rock and roll, something that I can get anybody up to dance with me.
Okay.
And again, I probably don't care which song it is. I'm not.
We'll see
Yeah.
in 2 days.
Yeah, I'm just hoping I can dance again. So yeah.
Okay. If you could choose, who would be your favorite person to talk at the bar? Alive or
No, it's it would. Yeah, I wouldn't choose anybody that was. Yeah, I wouldn't want to bring anybody back to life. I would just choose, I'm going to say I have a friend that I haven't seen for many, many years, and she lives in Vancouver, and I would love to sit and just chat with her. Her name's Gurdeep, and I miss our talks that we used to have.
But Vancouver is not far away.
I know it doesn't matter. It's a 12-hour drive, but we still haven't seen each other for years.
Oh.
And when we do, I mean, we've gone on a weekend away, like a girls' weekend kind of thing, and met kind of in the middle, and it's just been fabulous. But we get busy. We get this, do that.
I think everybody has a friend like that.
Mhm.
I have a friend that I met the first time when I was studying in Tarragona, and the relationship is so strong, even when we don't see us for years.
Right.
And when we sit together, it's very nice, and it's amazing. Yeah.
Yep. You meet a few of those people in your lifetime, and you just,
Yeah.
that would be one of my blessings.
Yeah.
People like that.
Yeah. That's right. So I am your bartender tonight. So what is your confession to make? Jack is not here.
Jack is not a confession. Oh, that's nasty. A confession. Some days I just feel really, really tired and just don't want to talk to anybody, and I haven't figured out how to do that, how to hide away, because I can't. I'm not one of these people that will go sit up in my room and pretend I'm not here. But sometimes I just would like to be a little person in the corner and just observe.
Relax, because it's too much everything.
Yeah, sometimes it gets to be too much. I just don't want to talk anymore, especially if my throat is sore and and I think the older I get, the more I want to do that.
Do you have time for yourself, where you just don't work and you just have quality time for yourself? In Germany, I don't know how they call it in English, but it's your own island where you are for yourself, where you do whatever you want for yourself to take care of you.
Yeah, I do. I make a point. So since I call myself semi-retired, and that's kind of
Don't believe it. Don't believe it. Just working every day.
I do work every day, but I do try to stop at noon. Like that's kind of my goal. When Celine and I were trying to get the book out, it didn't get to be noon, it was a little later. But my evenings are quiet time. I will take if I can, I will paint, or even just get a jigsaw puzzle and puzzle, or just go sit in the hot tub and do nothing or whatever I want. But I do take time for me. I do.
What is the best place on earth? Windermere?
Right now, yeah, actually in the summertime, not necessarily in the wintertime. And I've been to a lot of places, and so I go back and visit a lot of places, but I think right now Windermere, a little tiny village in the middle of nowhere, but it's perfect. It just is.
Yeah.
For where we are now in our times of life. Yeah.
So what is the best way to say goodbye?
The best way to say goodbye with really good friends, a good hug. That's the best way to say.
Goodbye. Thanks so much. It was a pleasure.
Goodbye, and it's really hard to hug from this direction, but let's do it.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're done.
And we're done.
We're done. Thanks so much.
We're done.